All right, so this video is going to be a little different than the ones I normally do. Normally, I like to have like one specific subject for a video. This is going to be kind of a jumble of a couple different things. First of all, we're going to start off with a public service announcement. Then we're going to jump into a short story because you know me, got to have that story. And then we'll get into the whole what's the plan for the future, immunotherapy wise, radiotherapy wise, and medication wise. So, first of all, public service announcement. Uh, Quickly jumping ahead, I had a meeting with my neurologist today, and because of that, now I was able to have access once again to my files on all the different scans and everything, and I was able to film some videos for that. Also took a couple pictures. So the public service announcement is if you're the kind of person who either needs proof or just enjoys seeing the scans and having that more interactive, more in-depth interaction with my content, you can go to either the community section of my channel. That's where I upload pictures, so any pictures of scans and stuff will appear there. And regarding videos, so I've filmed a few videos because a lot of the scans, you know, they can kind of scroll through and it actually moves, and a video just gives you a much better impression of what the scan is and kind of what's going on inside my body. So that, because they're very short videos, they're going to be uploaded to the short section of my channel. So yeah, if you want to have more information on that, just go to either of those sections and you'll be able to see the scans. I'm going to go ahead and upload that after I upload this video. So within minutes, you'll have access to all of that. All right, so moving on to the short story. As I just mentioned, today I had a meeting with my neurologist. And by the way, I just want to put this out there. I will at some point get around to making a video with a list of all the different doctors and medical professionals that have been assigned to me throughout the last 11 months, because every single time that something new happens, they either give me one or sometimes two new doctors. So at the moment, I believe I have 7 doctors. So I will make a video about that in the future. So, okay, this story, as I was saying. I had a meeting with my neurologist today, kind of an update just so he could, well, first of all, the most important thing was so he could give me a plan medication-wise so we'd be able to know, okay, when are we going to decrease back down to the level where I can actually start doing immunotherapy again? So yeah, we'll be able to get that later on in the video. So that's why I kind of had a meeting with the neurologist at the same time so he could, get an update on my situation, see how everything's going. So once again, very simple meeting. However, it did take longer than expected because it's a different hospital than the one I go to. It's a neurological hospital, so I'm not quite as accustomed as to how things function there. However, I know how they're not supposed to function, and that is when you show up and go to the reception, there should be someone there. There was not. There were, however, 2 people sitting behind a glass screen with 2 windows that would open up. So since there was no one at reception and this was part of the reception area, I go ahead and knock. The 2 women that were there stop talking, look up at me, don't say anything, don't do anything, stare at me for a couple of seconds, and then just go back to talking like I don't even exist. Now, I don't know if they were secretaries. I don't know if it's their job to ask, hey, who are you? Do you have an appointment? Whatever. But it seemed very unprofessional. So since there was nothing else for me to do, aside from go insane and keep banging and just be a complete dick, which I like to believe that I'm not. So I'm like, all right, I did the only logical thing, went to sit in the waiting room, and just assumed that at some point someone will eventually call my name. Plus, from where I'm sitting, I can see the doctor's office. The door's open. I can see he's not there. So I'm like, I'll just wait for him to show up. No big deal. I don't really have any plans for the rest of the day. So let's just chill. Ended up waiting almost an hour. He finally eventually came, called someone else. I'm like, all right, at this point, I don't know if he skipped over me or they're just behind schedule and those people that he called in are before me. So I just waited. And when they came out, I went to speak to him. And yes, turns out they're a little behind schedule and I was next in line. So everything ended up working itself out, even though whoever those 2 women were at the reception, I'm pretty sure they weren't doing their job. So anyway, that was the short story for this video. Now moving on to what the plan is immunotherapy-wise and radiotherapy-wise. While I was in the waiting room during that hour while I was waiting, I did get a call from the other hospital to let me know that my CT scan. So what they need to do is a CT scan in my chest. That way they're going to know exactly which area to target when they're going to do the radiotherapy. So they need to do another scan, of course. That has been scheduled for tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to go get that scan. Given the fact that they need to do the radiotherapy 5 days in a row, I'm assuming that's probably going to start the next Monday and it'll go from Monday to Friday. That's the most logical thing to me. They will give me confirmation on that at some point in the future. I'll let you know whenever that's confirmed. For now, that is my logical assumption. So radiotherapy wise, CT scan tomorrow, and after that, probably within the next week, or if not, next 2 weeks, I'm assuming they'll do the 5 radiotherapy sessions. Immunotherapy wise, now that I spoke to my neurologist and I have a new medication reduction plan, I can know that in 2 weeks from now, we should, in theory, be able to resume immunotherapy because I'll be back down to the level where we can actually do it and it's actually going to have an effect. And I say in theory simply because, as we know, the last 2 times that I diminished the dose to the level I need to be at to do immunotherapy, my body did not react so well. This time the difference is now I'm currently at 4 milligrams per day. I'm going to be at that for another week. And then if I look at my schedule here, I have another week after that at 3 instead of jumping down to 2 immediately. And then after that, I go down to 2. So what I'm hoping, and I'm assuming the doctor's hoping the same thing, is by diminishing slower, it's going to allow my body time to adapt, and that will not cause any side effects when I get down to that level. So in theory, 2 weeks from now, we'll be able to go back on immunotherapy. I'm hoping by then that the radiotherapy will be done. That way we can just go back to normal immunotherapy. I don't need to worry about the radiotherapy. Hopefully, I won't have too many adverse effects when it comes to the radiotherapy, and I'll just be back to normal, breathing normally, no issues. Regarding that, by the way, just wanted to give a quick update. Even though, yes, my rib is technically still fractured, it's been getting way better in the last couple of days. Like, I don't feel any pain when I breathe now. Sometimes at the end of the day a bit. Breathlessness has also been getting better, so I can walk normally without getting winded. Obviously, if I walk up a hill, I'll be winded at the top, but it's like I don't need to slow my pace anymore because I have a hard time breathing. So that's very good. And then once we do the radiotherapy, it should fix all that, and I should go back 100% to normal before that. And I'm also hoping, because for now, the biggest issue is the cough. That went away completely for a while. Then it came back along with the breathlessness. And even though the breathlessness is getting better, the coughing is still present. So I'm really hoping that the radiotherapy will just get rid of everything. And I can go back to not having breathing issues and not having any coughing. That's what I'm really hoping to get from all this. So just to kind of finish the plan. So medication. So 4 milligrams for a week, then 3 milligrams for a week, 2 milligrams for a week. After that, 1 milligram for a week, and then half a milligram for a month. For now, that is the plan. Once again, that plan can always change depending on how my body reacts, but given the fact that it's now a much more gradual process, and the fact that also the radiotherapy should, kind of buy us more time and everything, I'm optimistic that this time there will be no adverse effects. Also, since I'm now taking medication to, not have any seizures, that should not be an issue. The only thing that could happen is just I start having migraines again and start throwing up again, in which case I'll have to go back up and that will delay things once again. So yeah, that has been the update. Just trying to see if there's any more news I want to throw in there in the next 30 seconds while I still have it, but no, I think I'm good. So yeah, that's been the update for today. Overall, things are very good. I'm very happy with the way things are progressing. As usual, I'm delusionally positive. Well, depending on how you look at it. And yeah, I feel like I'm back to my old self. So life is good. And this time I will stop the video first shot. I'm going to stare at the button as I do it, okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.